This is a demonstration of a UniMocXSlider control in your PowerPoint presentation. As you can see, we have a normal setup of a PowerPoint slide here that's been UniMox enabled. We have the UniMox control here. We have the UniMox chart control here and a UniMox gauge control up here showing the heart rate. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add a UniMox slider control over on this side of the chart control that will allow us to adjust the heart rate. So we'll go ahead and stop our slideshow, go into our toolbox, control toolbox, choose on a UniMocXSlider control, and we'll draw a slider onto our page. Right click on the slider, choose properties, and this is a vertical slider that goes up and down and not left to right. We'll go ahead and leave the colors the same, but when you set the colors, the handle is the element of the slider that actually moves, and so you can change the color when you're actually controlling it. You can change the color when you're not controlling it. The lines are the containing lines around the control, and the track less is the color of the track, the internal portion of the slider that is below the current position, less than the current position of the handle. Track more is the color of the track that's greater than the current position of the handle. The network value should be familiar to you now that it identifies which UniMox control that we're actually connected to. So let's go in and set a command for the heart rate, patient heart rate, and we'll allow that to change, say, from 40 beats per minute, and then a comma, and then 100 to 140 beats per minute. So this is the range of its operation. It goes from 40 beats a minute to 140 beats per minute. If there's only two values here, then it will be a linear interpolation from the very lowest setting of the slider to the highest setting of the slider. Now, if we set it 140 to 40, it just goes in the opposite direction. So let's go ahead and do 40 to 140. We'll add that, and it adds it to our command list. We'll accept that, and we'll start up our presentation again. And again, the default value of the heart rate for a UniMox control is 75 beats per minute. So if we increase our slider position, you'll note that we've now increased our heart rate to 117 beats per minute. If we go to the end of the slider, we should be at 140 beats per minute, which is what we had set previously. And if we go back down at the bottom, we should be at 40 beats per minute. And there we are. You note that when you let go of the handle of the slider, that sometimes it'll move around before it settles down to where it's going, because the position of the slider is actually reporting the value that it is controlling. So until the simulator has fully been able to implement the command that you're requesting, it will sometimes move around a little bit until it settles to the value that you were requesting. Okay, let's show you another property of the UniMocXSlider. That's this auto mode. Auto mode means that you can click on a slider and it will automatically adjust from one position to its end position based on how you program it. So we'll enable auto mode. We'll increase 1% every 100 milliseconds. So that's about as fast as we can adjust the position of the controller, of the slider. So we'll accept that. And we start up, and we're at 75 beats per minute. Now if we just click on the handle, you'll notice that it automatically will begin to move. All the way up to 140 beats per minute. If we take it all the way down to the bottom, you can click on it to stop it from moving, and as soon as you click on it, it wants to start moving. So what I just did is I dragged it down to the bottom, and then clicked on it as soon as I let off. I actually essentially double clicked on it at the bottom. That made it stop trying to advance. So now we're at 40 beats per minute. If I click on it, it will increase. At the rate that we set. Obviously, because of all the jagginess of going on there, it wouldn't have done too much good to do that as a demonstration in front of a patient, or excuse me, in front of an audience, but you get the idea. So if we change this so that we increment one every 500 milliseconds instead of one every 100 milliseconds, it'll be a little bit better behavior, more useful behavior. So we'll click on it. This way you can give a demonstration in front of an audience where you can have a slider that either causes a patient to improve from some compromised condition to or go the opposite direction. You can have a well patient get ill while you're discussing whatever it is you're discussing in front of the audience without you having to actually make the control move. And so that's how you use a UniMocXSlider control in your presentation.